You know that feeling when you can just sense a massive shift happening right under your feet? Well, it's happening right now. A huge economic wave, all driven by one single technology. And we're not talking billions here, we're talking trillions. Yup, $2 trillion. According to forecasters at Gartner, by 2026, that's what the world is set to spend on AI. I mean, just think about that for a second. That's more than double what we're spending today. It's an absolutely unprecedented wave of investment. Okay, so the price tag is staggering, right? But what are we actually buying? What kind of intelligence are we getting for all that cash? That's the real question, and that's what we're going to dig into. Well, the answer starts with a totally new generation of AI models. And to really get a handle on this, we're going to look at one of the heavy hitters, Google's Gemini. It's the perfect example to help us understand what makes this revolution so different. All right, first things first. Let's really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this boom. And trust me, this is way more than just hype. It's a fundamental shift in the economy. So look at these numbers. What's absolutely wild here is the speed of this change. We're jumping from just under $1 trillion in 2024 to over $2 trillion by 2026. That's a nearly 50% jump in just 1 year, and then another 37% on top of that. I mean, wow, that's the kind of explosive growth that completely redefines industries. And this isn't some small niche market we're talking about. This spending is literally reshaping the backbone of our entire digital world. Think about it. By 2026, almost 40 cents of every single dollar spent on data centers, the servers, the hardware, all of it, is going to be for AI. That's a complete overhaul of our infrastructure. So the big question is, what kind of tech can soak up that much money? Let's pop the hood and take a look at one of the models at the heart of it all, Google's Gemini. Okay, so first thing to know is that Gemini isn't just a single model. It's more like a family with different sizes for different jobs. You've got Ultra, which is the big one for super complex tasks. Then there's Pro, kind of the all-rounder that's built for scale. And then you have Nano, and this is really cool. It's so small and efficient, it can run right on your phone. But here is the real game changer. It's this idea of native multimodality. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Older AIs could maybe handle text or maybe images, but not really at the same time. Gemini was built from the ground up to understand everything all at once. Text, code, pictures, video. It doesn't just see them as separate files. It understands how they all relate to each other. And this is a perfect example of what that actually means. The AI is looking at a page of physics homework. It sees the messy handwriting, it understands the little diagram of the skier, and it reads the typed question. But it doesn't just see those things separately. It puts them all together, finds the exact spot where the student made a mistake in their logic, and then explains how to fix it. I mean, come on. Just a few years ago, that was pure science fiction. Okay, so what these models can do is amazing. But what I find even more interesting is how they're learning to do it. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how AI actually gets smart. So for the longest time, AI has been in what some researchers call the era of human data. Basically, it got smart by reading everything humans have ever written, the entire internet, right? But the problem is, you can never get smarter than the stuff you read. You're limited by what we already know. The new way is the era of experience. This is where AI learns by actually doing things, by trying and failing. And that ability to discover things we've never thought of, that's a huge reason for that $2 trillion price tag. And this quote just nails it. Think of all that human data like fossil fuels. Super powerful, yeah, but there's only so much of it. It's going to run out. But letting an AI learn from its own experience, that's like solar power. It's a sustainable, almost infinite source of energy that can just keep powering AI growth, letting it find solutions we can't even imagine. And the way this works is through a process called reinforcement learning. It's actually pretty simple at its core. The AI tries something, it sees what happens, and then it gets some feedback, either a good job or a nope, try again. It just repeats that loop millions and millions of times. That's exactly how an AI called AlphaZero taught itself to be the best Go player in the world, without ever studying a single human game. It just played against itself. Okay, so this new way of learning unlocks the next huge shift. Because all this intelligence isn't just going to live in some faraway data center anymore. No, it's coming to you. You know how it's always worked, right? You type something on your phone, it gets sent off to some giant server farm, the cloud, And then the answer comes back. It's powerful, for sure, but it's also kind of distant.
Well, this next revolution completely flips that around. The brain is moving out of the cloud and right into your pocket.
And that's where those smaller models, like Gemini Nano, are a huge deal. And the benefits for you, personally, are awesome. First, privacy. Your data never has to leave your phone. Second, speed. We're talking instant responses, no internet lag, and it just works even if you're offline. This means better, faster, more private apps for all of us. Of course, when AI gets this powerful and this personal, safety becomes absolutely critical. You have to know that the teams building this stuff aren't just winging it. They have a really structured process for managing risks and making sure this technology is rolled out responsibly. Okay, so let's recap. We've got a $2 trillion economic wave, a brand new kind of AI that learns on its own, and all that power is moving right into our pockets. So, what happens next? What does this all mean for us? Well, here's something really important to think about. A lot of today's AI is trained to be helpful by getting feedback from humans. And that's great, but it creates a weird side effect. The AI gets really good at predicting what we desire to hear, which isn't always the same thing as what's actually factually true, based on real experience. And that brings us to the biggest question of all. As we move into this new era where AI can create its own knowledge, stuff that might go way beyond what we understand, how do we make sure it stays on our team? How do we ensure that this incredibly powerful new intelligence stays aligned with our goals and our values? Figuring that out, well, that's the real challenge ahead.